everyone! I need to tell you something. This 93-year-old grandmother asked her doctor, "Why am I so healthy?" And the doctor said, "Because you were loved." Let me take you back. 1950, South Korea, a small village. 18-year-old Sunja is walking through the market, and she sees this guy. Tall, handsome, big smile, carrying a basket of apples. But he's not watching where he's going. He's staring at her. He trips over a stone, and all the apples, they go everywhere. Sunja runs over to help him pick them up. He's so embarrassed, face bright red. But then he picks up the prettiest apple. No bruises, perfect. Wipes it on his shirt and gives it to her. He says, "My name is Jun Ho, but you can call me June." She's blushing. He says, "Can I see you again?" And she says, "Yes." After that day, June came to the market every week, always with something for her. Fruit, flowers, little gifts. One time, a blue ribbon for her hair. He said, "Blue is your color." One day they're sitting by the river, watching the water, and he turns to her. He says, "Sunja, I want to marry you." She laughs. "We're too young. I'm only 18. He says, "I know, but I'll wait, as long as it takes." She says, "What if you change your mind?" And he looks at her so seriously. "I won't. You're the only one for me." They made plans. They'd get married when she turned 20. June would save money, small wedding, start their life together. She was so happy. But then, June 1950, the war started, Korean War. North Korea invaded the South. People were running through the streets screaming, "Run! They're coming!" And then June came to her house. He was wearing a uniform, South Korean Army. He'd been drafted. She looked at him and she knew he was leaving. She said, "When?" He said, "Tomorrow morning." Families were fleeing south, carrying everything they owned. Chaos, terror, death everywhere. That night, they went to the river, one last time. The sun was setting, orange and pink sky. It was beautiful, but she couldn't enjoy it because he was leaving. June pulled something from his pocket, a small wooden carving, a bird. He said, "I made this for you. It's a dove. It means peace and hope. Keep this, and when you look at it, remember that I'm coming back." Sunja still has that dove. She's kept it for 75 years. The next morning, June left. She watched him walk away with the other soldiers. He turned around one last time and waved, and then he was gone. She didn't see him for 3 years. The war was hell. Her family fled south to Busan, refugee camp. Thousands of people crammed together. No food, no water. People dying every day. Every day she wondered, is he alive? Is he dead? She had no way of knowing. And then one day, a letter came. His handwriting. Messy, written in a hurry, but it was him. He was alive. It said, "My dearest Sunja, I'm writing this from a foxhole in the mountains. It's freezing cold. We barely have food, but I'm alive. And every night, I think of you. I think of your smile, your laugh, the way you helped me pick up those apples. That memory keeps me warm. Wait for me, Sunja. I'll come back, I promise." For 3 years, they wrote letters. Sometimes she wouldn't hear from him for months, and she'd think, he's dead, he's gone. But then a letter would arrive, and she'd cry from relief. In one letter, June wrote, "I was in a battle yesterday. We were outnumbered. A bullet grazed my shoulder. I fell, and I thought, this is it. I'm not going to see Sunja again. But then I remembered your face. And I got up. I kept fighting Because I made you a promise. In another letter he wrote, "We found a field of wildflowers today. In the middle of all this death and destruction, there were flowers. I picked one. I'm pressing it in this letter. It's for you. I wish I could bring you a whole bouquet, but for now, this will have to do. I love you." When she opened that letter, a tiny purple wildflower fell out, dried, pressed. She kept it, put it in a book. She still has it. She wrote back, "My dearest June, the flower is beautiful. I put it next to the dove you carved for me. They're my two most precious possessions. I miss you so much. Every day I pray for you. Please stay safe. Please come home. I'm waiting, always." The war ended July 1953. 1 month later, August, Sunja was at the market in Busan, buying rice. And then she heard someone call her name, "Sunya." She turned around, and there he was, June, so thin. This gaunt scar across his cheek, but his eyes were the same, warm, kind, full of love. And he was holding flowers, the same wildflowers he'd sent her in the letter. Sunja dropped her basket, rice spilled everywhere, and she ran to him. She threw her arms around him, cried so hard she couldn't breathe. He held her and said, "I told you I'd come back." 2 months later, they got married, October 15, 1953. Small wedding, tiny church, 20 people. June borrowed a suit, too big for him. She wore her mother's hanbok. It was perfect. They were so poor, they lived in one room. One room, that's it. Shared a bathroom with 3 other families. But they didn't care. They were happy. June got a job at a textile factory, 12 hours a day, sometimes 14. His hands were rough from the machines, but every single day, he'd bring her something. A piece of fruit, a flower, a snack. One day, he brought hotdog, sweet Korean pancakes, her favorite. He said, "I walked past a vendor and smelled these, and I thought of you." 1954, their first child was born, a boy, Minho. June cried when he held him, said, "I'm going to be the best father." Then their second child, a girl. Then their third, another boy. Then their fourth, another girl. People thought they were crazy. They kept having babies, 8 children total. 8. Their house was chaos, toys everywhere, laundry piled high, someone always crying or laughing or yelling. But it was full of love. Every night, all 10 of them crammed around a tiny table, eating rice and kimchi, and June would tell stories, make the kids laugh. And then he'd look at her across the table with 8 kids screaming around them, and he'd smile like she was the most beautiful thing in the world. But then, 1965, Vietnam War. Korea was sending soldiers, and June volunteered. She said, "No, you already fought in one war. Why would you do this again?" He said, "We need the money for 8 children, for their education. If I go, the army will pay triple." She begged him not to go, but he said, "I need to do this for our family, for our children's future." He was gone for 2 years. 2 years. And this time, she had 8 children, alone. 1967, he came home. The kids screamed when they saw him. All 8 of them tackled him, crying, laughing. That night, he cried, said, "I'm never leaving again, never." 1975, they moved to America. Los Angeles started over with nothing. 2 suitcases, 8 children. That's it. And you know what? Even in America, tired, struggling, barely making ends meet, June still brought her things every single day. A bag of roasted chestnuts, a single rose. He'd say, "I know it's not much, but I saw it and thought of you." 70 years. He never stopped. 2 years ago, June got sick. He was 91 years old. Pancreatic cancer. The doctor said, maybe a few months. Sunja said, "I'm not ready to lose you." He said, "You're not losing me. I'll always be with you." In his last few months, June couldn't get out of bed, but he'd still hold her hand every day and say, "Sunja, you're still the most beautiful woman I've ever seen." One day, she was sitting next to him, and he said, "Do you remember the day we met with the apples?" She said, "Of course I remember." He said, "That was the best day of my life because I met you." The night before he died, June called all 8 children and their spouses and their children and their children. 4 generations, 40 people gathered in his hospital room. June looked at all of them and he said, "I want you to know something. The greatest thing I ever did in my life was love your mother. Everything good in my life came from loving her. All of you, this family, this love, it all started with her. Love each other the way we loved each other, because love is the only thing that lasts." And then he looked at Sunja, just her, and said, "Sunja, my sonny, thank you. Thank you for 70 years. Thank you for our children. Thank you for our life. I'll be waiting for you. When it's your time, I'll be there at the gates of heaven with flowers. And that smile, I promise." He died the next morning, in his sleep, holding her hand. Sunja is 93 now, and she's healthy. Doctors can't believe it. Strong, clear mind, active. You know why? Because she was loved for 70 years. Scientists have proven it. When you're truly loved, your body responds. You live longer, healthier, happier. Sunja wants you to know, love isn't a feeling. Love is a choice. Every single day. She and June fought sometimes, of course they did, but they chose each other every morning, especially on the hard days. So if you're struggling right now, if you want to give up, remember Sunja and June. Don't give up. Hold on, because that kind of love, it's everything. Sunja is 93 years old, and she's not afraid of death. You know why? Because she knows when God calls her home, June will be there, standing at the gates of heaven with wildflowers in his hands, the same ones from the war, and that smile on his face. And he'll say, "Sunja, I told you I'd wait for you." And they'll walk into eternity, hand in hand, just like they walked through life.